I'm itching to get this new beverage farm franchise store off the ground and make some real money as a self-made entrepreneur. Let's see if we can make a go of this corporation.
Failure is not an option.
So to quickly get into where we are in our business, I'll fast forward a bit on the store setup. We bought ourselves a nice cash register that'll show the cashier's name on it, purchased 2 delivery pallets that I'm sure need to get upgraded soon, one of the larger storage units to hold the unpacked goods, and 4 shelves for holding our products. My corporate endeavor is called Beverage Farms, so I'll be focusing this store anyway on selling beverages and food. You can sell food that's more grocery-like items such as canned goods and frozen dinners, but I'm going to be selling more of the raw foods like broccoli and potatoes. The main reason for picking those items is just because I wanted to sell them, but I do seem to have a large demographic in farmers, ecologists, retirees, and students. It may be there are a lot of farmers and they don't need my raw veggies, but we're just going to see how that works out. I've also decided to just focus on 4 beverages, all beer, at least at the beginning. That should keep my inventory nice and simple, and I think each of those demographics would enjoy cracking open a cold one at the end of the day. The last thing I did is set up 2 displays in my windows, each one advertising my 2 highest price items to create some hype and incentive there. It's day 1. I'm going in cold. No staff, no ads in magazines, and no marketing. Just me and my store trying to sell goods. Now, I had mentioned that going through several of those contract missions to get my starting funds was pretty informative, and one of the things I learned is that it's super helpful at the beginning to go talk to the people out in the street. In the beginning, your store has virtually no reputation. No one knows about it. You're relying purely on folks just wandering into your store at random, and it can be pretty hard those first couple days to sell any product and just cover your costs and break even. You can now go out into the street and talk with people and try to sell them your product and get them interested. More often than not, a successful engagement will usually bring them into the store. And after that, I found it's about 50-50 whether or not they'll actually buy anything, but at least you brought them in, and you have a chance. One thing's for certain, there's a 0 chance of selling someone something if they're not even in the store. So at the end of day 1, sales were not that great. I even lost a little bit, but that's about what I expected. I knew those first couple days can be pretty rough. And with only $37 in funds, I couldn't even restock the shelves for the stuff I had sold. So I decided to just go with the inventory I had and hope for the best. Day 2, I'm back out working the mean streets of the city, trying to make those sales, and it seems the hard work paid off. It went significantly better with a tidy little profit, and I was able to restock my shelves. Now, I could have gotten a loan back at my office on the PC. There's a bank option there, and if you go to it, you can take out a loan for a certain amount of money and pay it back with about 10% interest, I think. But I really didn't want to do that. It didn't seem very smart to take out a loan and have more of my daily revenue being taken away until I was relatively sure I could at least turn a profit on a regular basis.
It always comes down to profit with you people, doesn't it?
We've been over that. It's part of this game.
Pure, unadulterated, great.
So I just stuck with the plan, restocked my shelves again, and went for another day. Here's where things started to get a little frantic. With things moving off the shelves, I needed to make sure everything got stocked in a timely manner. So between unpacking boxes, restocking shelves, running the register so I didn't lose any customers, and trying to talk with people on the street to bring them in, and helping customers in the store so they didn't leave unhappy and lower my reputation, I was really running about. I had also cranked up my store hours right on day one to give myself a nice long window of opportunity to be able to sell my product to as many customers as possible. Now, this will be fine right now because I'm doing all this running of the store by myself, and my rent and taxes and things like that don't really scale with the number of hours that I have the store open. But as soon as I start hiring staff, that's going to start to be a huge consideration. My staff would probably get really unhappy at having to work 13-hour days, 7 days a week. So if I did want to keep the store open and were unable to run everything myself, I'd have to start really thinking about scheduling, giving people days off, and doing things to keep them happy. But right now, it was just me in the store, and I'm fine with running myself ragged. So Monday closed out again with a profit. And not only did I restock with what I'd sold, I now had enough to be able to buy a little extra to have some stock in the back room just to keep the shelves filled. And perhaps one of the greatest achievements of all is that my store got level 2, which was going to give my store a very small amount of popularity, but should really help keep the foot traffic coming into my store without me having to go out and strangle people on the street just to have them come in. So this was cool. This was huge. Even though I was still going to talk to people on the street if I had nothing else to do, I was getting to a point where I really needed to keep focused on the shelves that were starting to get stripped bare. And I'm going to say my very cheap rate delivery service really wasn't helping to get those items in the store first thing in the morning. I mean, these guys didn't even deliver what I had ordered the day before until noon, at best. So I really needed to keep an eye on my stocks and make sure I didn't run out of anything. One really frustrating thing was to spend a lot of time talking with customers who wanted help, keeping them really happy and making them feel very needy for the product. And even after what felt like maxing a person out for a potential sale, the guy would just walk out of the store. I mean, what's wrong with these people? Wait, can't they see I'm trying to run a business here? I don't have time just to yap with everybody that comes in. So if you're gonna take my time, then buy something.
Come on, folks.
But at least we were being successful. And I decided to go a couple more days with my approach of just working my own fingers to the bone. And running the whole store myself. I did, though, want to start taking some risks and trying to ramp up this store. So with that, I took my first ad out in a magazine. You do get some variety here of choosing what kind of magazine, at least identified by name, that you think would be appropriate, the size of the ad, and the general target of what you want your ad to be. You can choose a demographic you're trying to appeal to, a general category of product like beverage or food, or can target a specific item you're trying to push in your store. I honestly have no idea which ones are going to be the most effective, but I do know one thing. I'm selling beverages, so a small beverage ad it would be. And it's one I felt I could afford. I think the bigger the ad and the more days you run the ad, the more it's going to cost you. And I decided it might be better for me to spend any downtime I had in the store putting together some sort of marketing campaigns rather than trying to waylay people on the street to come into the store. In fact, because my deliveries don't even show up until noon, I was able to get a fair piece into it before the store even opened. So this seemed like it was going to work out great. And it did. Not only was I able to finish my little marketing blog, but I was able to start a second one at the close of business. And between the magazine ad and maybe this marketing, I pulled in the best day of profit I had had so far. Almost $600. It's really feeling like I've gotten over the hump of getting the store off the ground and starting to get into a nice phase of accelerated growth where I'll be able to add more products, maybe expand my delivery storage from those 2 pallets and that sort of thing. But I can also tell I'm probably gonna start needing some help from staff pretty soon, because I want to hear that cash register go ching 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 all day. We'll see what happens in the next episode.